Here we are with red, and I'm about to do the modeling on this baby, and I think I went overly red on this baby, but so far what's been happening is when I cook this baby in the oven, the paint bleaches out a bit, so I thought I'll go a little bit stronger on the paint. That way I can get what I want. It's frustrating the heck out of me. It looks dirty, it looks odd, but I think what it is it's not what I'm used to. And so, like with the fairy baby and the avatar baby, I have to kind of switch gears in my head and say, this isn't the same thing. So just relax and go with the flow, and whatever this is asking of you, that's what you're gonna do. I'm gonna show you this crazy chicken baby that looks like it's flying. Wow. Okay, so here's what happened. I went to go do the back, and I realized that there was nothing on the back. There was no paint. There was some weird white patches, but for the most part, nothing stuck back here, and I couldn't figure it out. What happened was I was baking this baby on its back, so it wasn't getting cured on the back. So every time I was coming back to it, nothing was happening back there. So what I did was I did another varnish layer on the back. I even went as far as to do that pale layer on top of the varnish, just because I wanted to even it up with the rest of the body. And then I gave it a little modeling because it was so spotty. And I'm gonna bake it like this, if I can fit it in the New Wave oven. I'm just getting some of this grossness off of here. And see what happens. I think this will be great. And then what I'll do is I'll let it cool, I'll turn it over, and I'll bake the other side. So I think what's gonna happen from now on is I'm gonna have to bake both sides, which it's gonna take a little longer, but that's okay. I'd rather do that than have just one side of this baby painted. I baked the baby. I baked the body twice. I flipped him over like a pancake and baked him on both sides, which was very interesting, and he came out quite shiny. The whole baby's quite shiny, but that's okay because I think I can do like a matte fix at the end. We'll see how shiny that is. But I mean, the red stuck. I'm happy. It did stick. And that's kind of cool. And it brought out some of the blue that was hiding down there. And I really want to do, and the back turned out great. I really want to do another blue wash, but I think I'm going to start doing some flesh washes first and see how they look, because they have some burnt umber that has a lot of yellow in it. So I want to see how yellow this baby gets before I do more blue. So I am going to do a brown wash, this color. It looks dark, but it's not. It's just settled on the jar. Let me open it up. It's like chocolate milk. We're back. I gave that baby a big bake. It wasn't terrible, except the paint, it doesn't seem to be sticking. I did the test where you take a Q-tip, put it in a tiny, tiny bit of thinning medium, and go to an inconspicuous spot, like behind the neck, way down here, underneath the arm, someplace where it wouldn't be totally obvious, and just gently rub it. And if paint's coming off, that means your paint is not curing. So it wasn't curing. I think that's kind of been the problem all along, or one of the problems. And maybe I'm making a bigger deal out of this than needs to be, but I'm paying attention. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 265, and I'm going to go 8 minutes, and then I'm going to go 265 and do 9 minutes. I just don't want to melt this vinyl or ruin it or get too shiny. So I'm just going to take it up in increments. I'm doing I just finished putting on another flesh layer. So I took it from 265 to 270 to see if maybe that would be helpful. And the baby got so shiny. I thought, this baby is on its way to melting. So I thought I needed to do something else. So I gave it a quick matte wash, and I stuck the baby in at 265 for 8 minutes. Still got a shiny baby. So then I did 265 for 7 minutes. Not shiny, and let's see what happens. On that Q-tip, it's really saturated. And I'm just gonna go to an inconspicuous part where it wouldn't make that big of a difference. I'm just gonna give it an easy rub. And you can see I'm still getting paint coming off. Not as much, I'm just thinking if I can actually scrub a spot off that would remove the paint enough so that you could get down to bare vinyl. And really, that is not happening. I'm just getting a tiny bit, but still that's not good enough. I bake that baby some more. I'm just gonna have to play with it. Maybe it just needs a lot of bakes at a moderate temperature. I don't know. I think this next bake, I'm gonna put that baby in, again, 265 for 7 minutes and see what happens, and then crank it back up to 8. I might get a shiny baby again. I don't know. And I don't know if it's everywhere. I'm just experimenting. Let me get another clean Q-tip, because sometimes where there are creases or it's a side that's not getting a lot of heat like the rest of the baby, maybe the paint isn't curing enough. So I want to see if that's an everywhere thing. Yeah, that's an everywhere thing. And it's not a lot, but that should not be happening. That paint should be stuck on there good. Yeah, that's everywhere. Again, not too much. Every time I did a wash, I stuck a wash of brown on top of the hair, and then I rubbed it off just so that all that brown would get in the creases there. I'm gonna go a couple more dark on this head. And I may actually, I don't think I'm gonna do hair painting on this baby. I think I may actually just root a little bit of hair on top just for fun. It is a little darker than I'd like it to be just because I'm putting so many doggone layers on it. So what I'm gonna do right now is clean up anything that looks uneven, weird. Since this paint isn't 100% cured on there, it's a good time to go through and take off anything that I don't like. Like right here, there's a spot. It almost looks like the baby has freckles, and it's because when I was patting on that paint, there we go, that's better. When I was patting on the paint, I got a little messy. Sometimes those little freckles and details actually add, and you don't want to take them off completely, but you don't want it to look like the baby's dirty. But I'm just going to give that baby a little paint thinner bath and just give it a good inspection and make sure that I'm not building up any brown or any dirty looking paint. I don't want to do that. And I'm going to talk about one more time, this baby is releasing a pretty funky odor. The more I bake it, it's actually, my whole New Wave now smells like it. And it's just that old toy smell, you know what I mean? It's part of being around for a long time. When you heat it up, you're just kind of bringing it to the surface. Yeah, the face is great. So I'm gonna let this thinner dry. I think what I'm going to do is give this baby a very light umber wash. Just one more for fun. He's gonna be a little bit more dark than I had planned, but because he has such deep red undertones, he's got that, you know, newborn pink, which was kind of something that I thought was cool. And while I was doing that, I did start to tip nails and toes, just because I was waiting for the top to dry and I was bored. I also started to do the umbilical stump. I don't know if you can see it clearly. I'll hold that up for you. And basically what I did was I added a flesh layer to the stump, highlighted it with a little bit of white, a little bit of yellow, and on the inside I did kind of a plum color, brown, and a little bit of black. Before I stick this baby in the oven, I'm gonna do one more little layer of brown, and I am doing burnt umber right out of the jar. Not mixing it with anything, and just painting this baby's hair. I'm giving it one more coat. I thought, let's just go nice and slow. I've never painted a baby with molded hair before, and it's really, really pretty. I'm just kind of getting all that paint into those nooks and crannies. See how all of that paint is settling in, just like wood stain. That's the best way to describe it. And I don't want to just start and stop. I want to have like a little bit of a shadow around that hairline. I want there to be a transition to the skin. I like the way that looks. Okay, let's pop that baby in and see what happens. Hi everyone, got that baby out of the oven. I am so excited. Things are looking good. Not shiny. Did the little paint test. It's fine. So that was 2 times at 265 for 7 minutes. Even the hair is sticking, and he's got a couple more bakes going. So I think we're doing all right. He looks good. He looks great. The paint isn't translucent. You can't really see a lot of that vinyl underneath there. It's a very painted baby, but I'm okay with that. So what I'm gonna do now is I mixed up a little red with a little baby skin, and I'm just gonna do some subtle blushing, and I'm just gonna paint that on in the places where I want it. I'm gonna do the tip of the nose. I'm gonna do a little bit on the lips, not a lot. This baby has sculpted lips that have a lot of texture, and they have a line around them, and I don't want to get any of this paint in that line because it makes him look like he has lipstick on. So let me pat out that nose. I really don't want to see a clowny nose, and I just ripped a sponge in. Do some cheeks. I do this little teardrop shape. I don't want really round red cheeks. And then I'm going to pat that off a little bit. I don't want to go backwards and make a super pink baby. Everything just super subtle. And I know now that this baby sucks up the red, so I'm going to be super careful about that. Just accenting a bit here and a bit there. Again, this is super pale. It's very orangey, not magenta-y. Again, he's pretty pink. I don't want to get him too pink. What I'm doing is just pinking up the top of his toes a bit. I don't want him to have those pale pink baby feet. I want him to look kind of red. Now let's pink up his little knees. Again, I just go in kind of a little circle, and then I just pat it out with a sponge. There we go. Here's the baby's head, and it is right where I want it to be. I'm not going to be doing anything more to this baby. I put on a couple of those amber washes like I said I would, and I did bake it not once, not twice, but 3 times at 265, 7 minutes, and I cooled in between, and the paint is sticking nicely. Here's the body. And we got the shine off the back, so his feet got super shiny. So I'm just gonna add some matte varnish and take that shine off. But other than that, I think it looks really good. He's not as pink as he was because I put a lot of washes on him. And I'm pretty happy. I'm going to actually cut this hole out, which I feel bad because I think this was intended to keep water out, but it's not an issue right now. So. And the reason why I'm going to cut this out is because I'm not worried about getting water in there anymore, because I'm not going to put any more water or liquid on this baby. I want to scent his body and make him a little bit more pleasant. If that'll work, I'm going to give it a try. I don't want to make this hole too big because I don't want to weaken this flange and for his head not to stay on properly, but I do want it big enough that I can put a stocking in there without it being too much drama. And I might find a 40 plug and see if I can make it fit. That goes in nicely.